Channel 2S is brought to you by New Type HQ. Get your kits and supplies at the link in the description below. Alright guys, so tonight's episode of Gunpla News is pretty much just going to be one big compilation of a whole bunch of smaller exclusive announcements from the last month or so. There is some pretty cool stuff in here, like revised and updated versions of the old models of the Harut and Zabanya, as well as the first of hopefully many different add-on sets for the Master Grade Eclipse. Before we get into any of that though, we gotta talk about the Yokohama Gundam. The Yokohama Gundam, the Walking Gundam, the RX-78, F00, the new Gundam statue, whatever you want to call it, it's a pretty complicated design, and unfortunately both of the non-graded model kits we've gotten of it up to this point haven't done a super great job of capturing that design. They tend to be a little bit mushy when it comes to the details, they don't have a lot of color separation, and overall they're just really underwhelming for something that's supposed to be such a cornerstone of Bandai's marketing right now. Fortunately, on the 21st of this month, we are going to be getting a much better model of the RX-00 in the form of the 1/48 scale model. That's right, this thing is basically a mega size. Now to be clear, they technically aren't calling it a mega size, however this is a 1/48 scale model. The color separation on this thing looks fantastic, all the details are sharp and crisp. They even did a little bit of that real grade multi-shade armor gimmick like we got with the old real grade RX-78. Now these are prototype images, so there is a possibility that there's more paint going on here than I realized, but from what I can tell, it looks like the color separation here is pretty much spot on. The panel lines are sharp and crisp, and while this thing probably will not have a full inner frame, in fact I would be amazed if it actually did, it looks like the joint areas that are exposed have a lot of great detail on them. Articulation looks to be pretty nice as well, and I think I spy a little bit of a sliding armor gimmick in the thigh. And of course the cherry on top is the light up LED eyes. Now it is just the eyes that light up. It would have been cool if we could have gotten those like aircraft signal lights on the shoulders and knees to light up as well, but this is a non-graded kit, so they can't really go all out with it. Given the size of the model, it probably wouldn't be that hard to wire up these little lights yourself, provided you have the skills and material to do so. As for the existing kits, the Yokohama Gundam, we are actually going to be getting some clear color variants of both the 1/144th and the 1/100 model. And transitioning topics once again into another similar topic, we have some more limited kits coming to Gundam Base Tokyo, and this is Gundam Base and not Gundam Factory, but we are getting an extra finish RX-78 3.0, a clear color high-grade the Origin RX-78, a clear color Master Grade Zaku Gunner, and a set of 3 clear color SD Gundams from the new SD Gundam World series. In addition to those clear color and finish variants, we are also getting I think this is actually a brand new mold catapult hanger from White Base for your high-grade Revive kits. These come in a pack of 3, and they are compatible with both the high-grade Revive Gundam and Gun Cannon. They have a little bit of articulation to them, so you can tip them back just like in the anime. And this catapult deck set, along with the Extra Finish 3.0 and the Clear Origin RX-78, are available at Gundam Base right now, with the other kits coming out on the 21st. As for more conventional exclusives, we have the Maneuvering Striker, which is the first of apparently many different add-on sets for the Master Grade Eclipse Gundam. A big gimmick with this Gundam seems to be its ability to use the striker packs of previous Gundams. They've made a big deal out of showing this thing off with various striker packs from the Strike, as well as silhouette packs from the Impulse Gundam. Now personally myself, I'm not a fan of these sort of multi-jointed, big, finicky, kind of spiky tentacle looking backpack equipments. I just find them kind of a pain to work with when posing the kit, and they don't always hold their strength super well over time. But if you like this kind of design, and this is something you want to get for your Eclipse, this is definitely a kit to keep an eye on. However, I myself am more hyped for the Awakening of the Trailblazer Final Battle kits. If you're familiar with Awakening of the Trailblazer, as you probably are since it just recently went up on Gundam Info, definitely give it a watch if you haven't already. The Gundams in Awakening of the Trailblazer get a little bit of an equipment upgrade for the final battle. So looking at Zabanya here first, he gets a couple extra shield bits. Now if you're familiar with this kit, you'll know that there is kind of some weird stuff going on with these. They don't actually fully separate in the way you would expect them to. Instead, there is only one shield bit on each side that actually fully detaches, and the remaining 4 are stuck together in groups of 2. Well, Bandai tried to at least partially amend that by making all 4 of the new shield bits fully separate components. And since both the old and new shield bits can be mixed around and configured together in a variety of different ways, with a little bit of creativity, you can get some much better action poses out of this kit than the original Zabanya. Now, it would have been nice if they included some kind of funnel base to allow you to actually hold the shield bits up like this. It does look like you're going to have to kind of jury-rig something yourself, maybe borrow a few stands from other kits. And sure, he is still missing some features like the pop-open missile pods underneath his armor, but for the most part, part, this is a pretty good improvement on the original model. And once again, here is everything included with the Final Battle Zabanya. There's even more cool stuff going on with the Final Battle Harut, because Harut had quite a few cool tricks up his sleeve that unfortunately the original high grade just couldn't recreate properly. The first and most prominent change here is the massive leg boosters. These things are huge, they're awesome, and due to the fact that they're, well, completely lacking feet, you actually get a new stand with this kit as well. It's nothing too fancy, just the kind of basic cheapo stand you get with a Build Divers kit, but it's enough to keep him up in the air. Final Battle Harut does include the scissor bits that were also missing from the original model, and while I'm not super familiar with it, I don't think the guns on the original Harut could open like this either. However, in my opinion, the coolest of the new features on the Harut is the alternate Marut head. The Marut head looks awesome with its multiple sets of eyes, and it is one of my favorite things about the Gundam Harut. So needless to say, I am definitely going to be picking this one up. Finally, we have the Hyper Mega Bazooka launcher for the High New Gundam. This is just a big old cannon, and there's not a whole lot else to say about it. Now you might be looking at this picture right here and think, well, 2S, there's clearly some kind of forced perspective going on here. The cannon's not actually that big. Well, if you'll notice by the size of the action base holding it up relative to the size of the cannon, yeah, this thing's pretty freaking big. Outside of showing off the prototype at a couple events, and I think maybe in a magazine or two, Bandai hasn't really talked a lot about this model. As far as I've seen, there's no price or release date announced for this yet, and to be honest, I'm not that excited for it. The real grade High New Gundam does look like it's going to be a pretty awesome kit, but I don't think I'll need a massive cannon to enjoy it. So today's episode of Gunpla News was very exclusive heavy. We were pretty much exclusively looking at exclusives, I suppose you could say, and that is because, well, currently, retail Gunpla is looking pretty sparse. As for stuff we're actually getting this month, we are getting the retail Master Grade Eclipse Gundam, which is pretty much a brand new mold. It is using some bits from the Strike Remaster, but for the most part, this is a new Master Grade that pretty much dropped out of nowhere. It really was a big surprise seeing this get announced a few months back, because they announced the Master Grade model alongside the manga, which given Bandai's normal handling of the Master Grade line is an impressive display of confidence. If you're not a fan of the Master Grade Eclipse Gundam though, your August Gunpla choices are going to be pretty sparse. We are getting a figurized standard of Lacus if you're into the more human style models, but aside from that, the only other new kit we're getting in August is another SD Gundam. So yeah, Bandai's really banking on people wanting to go out and buy the Eclipse. So there you go guys, that's what's been happening with Gunpla News. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like. Normally I would say let me know in the comments which of these kits you're most excited to see, but I mean, obviously it's the Master Grade Eclipse Gundam, so no real contest there. But that aside, be sure to subscribe for more Gunpla and Gundam content, and I will see you next time. Take care, guys.